For a moment, it seemed the sound of tiny footsteps had faded from the halls of the Wales household. No new royal babies were expected. The nursery doors remained shut, and the world had quietly accepted that the chapter of growing young royals had come to a gentle pause. But behind the modest gates of Adelaide Cottage, a different kind of joy was brewing. It wasn't the coos of a newborn that broke the morning stillness, but the soft, eager whimpers and scratch of 4 tiny paws. In a surprise that captured hearts across the world, Orla, the beloved black cocker spaniel of Prince William and Princess Catherine, had given birth to a litter of 4 healthy puppies. What began as a closely kept secret among the royal family soon exploded across headlines. Royal puppies! The term instantly trended across social media and news outlets, as the public's fascination with the inner life of the royals collided with something universally heartwarming: baby animals. There was no need for a press release, no official photos or titles. The story unfolded on its own, fueled by whispers from palace insiders and the echo of excited giggles from 3 young royals who now had 4 new companions to adore. It was unexpected, tender, and somehow more magical because of its simplicity. The children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, were said to be absolutely enchanted. Their excitement couldn't be contained. The puppies, only a few weeks old, brought a new energy into the home that hadn't been felt in years. For them, it was like having a new set of siblings. For Catherine and William, it was a moment of relief, a reprieve from the relentless expectations of public duty, a reminder that life, at its core, is still full of ordinary miracles. And yet, this wasn't just about puppies. For those who followed the royal family for decades, the news sparked a familiar warmth. It evoked memories of Queen Elizabeth II and her beloved corgis, those tiny loyal companions who were never far from her side. For decades, the corgis were as much a part of royal tradition as tiaras and balcony waves. With this new litter of cocker spaniels, it felt as though that legacy was being lovingly passed on. Not through ceremony or proclamation, but through shared affection, gentle responsibility, and an enduring love for animals. There was something symbolically powerful about it too. In a world of royal scandals and shifting alliances, this small story, untainted, genuine, pure, cut through the noise. It reminded everyone that no matter the grandeur of castles or the formality of titles, the royal family, at its heart, still finds joy in the simple sound of tiny paws on hardwood floors. But the joy of this moment wouldn't exist without one key royal companion, Orla. She didn't arrive with fanfare. There were no headlines, no flashbulbs, just a quiet entrance into the lives of a family burdened by legacy, yet desperately clinging to normalcy. Orla, the black cocker spaniel with a heart as gentle as her name, was never meant to be a symbol, but she became one. A gift from James Middleton in 2020, Orla didn't just fill a gap in the royal household. She brought something deeper, an anchor of affection during one of the family's most emotionally fragile moments. It was more than a pet transaction. It was a gesture between siblings, one that carried meaning beyond fur and paws. James, who had long been candid about his battles with mental health, understood the healing power of animals. His dog Luna had birthed a litter, and one of them, Orla, seemed destined for more than just any home. She was destined to serve as both comfort and companion for a family under relentless public scrutiny. Her arrival wasn't choreographed or strategic. It was intimate, quietly placed into the arms of Catherine, not as the future queen, but as a sister, a mother, a woman seeking peace. And her name? Orla, of Celtic origin, translates to Golden Princess. It was fitting, almost eerily so. In a world where names carry power and symbolism is everywhere, Orla's name felt prophetic. She quickly became more than just a pet. She was a constant presence at Adelaide Cottage, threading herself into the very fabric of the family's daily life. From morning walks through the vast green fields to curling up beneath Charlotte's feet during story time, Orla wasn't just in the background, she was family. She wasn't hidden either. Royal watchers took notice when she began appearing in key family moments. In 2022, Orla was seen beside Princess Charlotte in a widely adored set of official birthday portraits. The puppy sat with poise, as if she understood the gravity of the lens trained on her. That wasn't the only time the public caught glimpses of her. Orla was present at the Royal Charity Polo Cup, walking calmly beside Catherine as Prince William competed. In these moments, Orla wasn't just a royal dog, she was an extension of the family's private warmth, inadvertently projected into the public eye. Orla's existence is more than anecdotal. She represents a subtle but powerful narrative shift. The royal family has long been defined by grandeur, but Orla reminds the world of something else: connection. In every public image, in every candid moment she appears in, she brings a sense of grounding. She isn't a distraction from the pressures of royalty. She is a reflection of how the family copes with them. A thread of softness in a world defined by protocol and pressure. But Orla's arrival was more than a happy surprise. It came after a royal heartbreak. Before Orla warmed the hearts of the royal family, there was Lupo. He wasn't just a dog. He was a silent witness to some of William and Catherine's most formative years. A loyal presence in a world often defined by distance and duty. Gifted to the couple shortly after their 2011 wedding, Lupo came into their lives not as a formality, but as a source of stability. At a time when their every move was dissected by the press and their personal lives often drowned beneath headlines, Lupo brought something irreplaceable: unconditional love and quiet refuge. He was there before children, before Adelaide Cottage, before the world saw William and Catherine not just as royals, but as parents. Lupo padded through the halls of their first home, curled up beside them after long public tours, and stood silently in the background of countless unseen moments. To outsiders, he was the royal dog, a curiosity, a footnote in tabloid coverage. But to the couple, he was family. When Prince George was born, Lupo was there. When Catherine faced the pressures of royal motherhood, Lupo never left her side. His bond with the children was instantaneous, gentle, and deeply instinctive. He wasn't just tolerated, he was adored. And then, in 2020, the silence fell. Lupo's passing wasn't marked with elaborate ceremonies or official decrees, but it didn't need to be. The announcement hit the public like a gut punch. In a rare, personal post, William and Catherine expressed their heartbreak, calling Lupo a vital part of their journey as a young family. And for once, the usually skeptical public didn't react with cynicism, they mourned with them. Social media was flooded with tributes. Images of Lupo resurfaced alongside messages of grief, empathy, and recognition of the role animals play, not just in households, but in healing. For the family, his absence was more than emotional. It left a tangible void. The laughter of children continued. So did the royal duties, the public appearances, the speeches. But behind the scenes, something was missing. The soft footsteps that had once followed Catherine through the garden, the curious nose nudging open doors, the unspoken understanding between dog and owner, they were all gone. And in that absence, the silence became too loud to ignore. But grief, like legacy, has strange ways of manifesting. Orla didn't come as a replacement. She wasn't meant to fill Lupo's shoes, but in time, she began to walk beside those who had loved him most. And now, as Orla brings new life into the world, the echoes of Lupo are hard to miss. His memory lingers not in monuments, but in the way the children play, in the way William gently pats Orla's head, and in the quiet moments where joy once again outweighs sorrow. And just when the palace felt that void, Orla's pups arrived to fill it with joy again. Inside the historic walls of Adelaide Cottage, where centuries of tradition and responsibility quietly linger, something extraordinary has taken hold: chaos. But not the kind that signals disorder or unrest. This chaos comes with wagging tails, clumsy paws, and the boundless energy of 4 tiny puppies exploring a world far too large for them. For the Wales family, the air has shifted. The rhythms of daily life have been disrupted not by scandal or duty, but by bark and laughter, and the kind of beautiful mess that only new life can bring. George, Charlotte, and Louis didn't need time to adjust. The moment the puppies arrived, they became part of the children's world. Charlotte was the first to give names, none of which were officially kept. But that didn't matter. What mattered was the connection. Louis followed closely behind, captivated by their playfulness and fascinated by their every move. George, ever the quiet observer, took his role seriously, guiding the younger two with a maturity beyond his years. Their bond with the puppies wasn't just adorable, it was instinctive, pure, and deeply revealing of the values their parents had instilled in them. Mornings now begin with squeals of laughter as tiny paws race across the hardwood floors. Mealtimes are no longer just about breakfast and tea. They've become training sessions, moments of discipline wrapped in love. Catherine, known for her gentle but firm hand in parenting, has turned the household into a nurturing space for both children and animals. William, whose childhood was shaped by formality and the burden of monarchy, now finds joy in simplicity, in watching his children grow through something as natural and grounding as caring for a pet. The puppies, still too young to understand the history they've been born into, have already become teachers. They're teaching the children responsibility, feeding schedules, potty training, daily walks. But more than that, they're teaching empathy. They're teaching patience. In a life defined by privilege, the puppies are a reminder that compassion isn't inherited, it's practiced. Every scratch behind the ears, every moment of frustration over chewed-up shoes is molding these young royals into more than heirs. They're becoming people of character. Catherine has always championed early childhood development. And here, within her own home, her philosophy comes to life. She believes in structure, in freedom balanced with boundaries, in love that's consistent, not conditional. The puppies, without knowing it, are reinforcing everything she holds dear. And for William, it's a second chance at the kind of family life he never quite got. It's his opportunity to break the cycle, to raise his children not just with titles, but with tenderness. But while the puppies brought smiles, their future inside the palace remains a question. They adore them, but can the royal family really keep all four? That's the question echoing through tabloids, morning talk shows, and social media feeds across the world. It's not just about puppies anymore. It's about tradition, responsibility, and the very image the monarchy projects. Because while these playful companions have stolen the hearts of the Wales family, they've also ignited a public debate. That won't go quiet. Royal watchers want answers, and so far, Buckingham Palace has offered none. Adelaide Cottage, nestled within the serene 655-acre grounds of Windsor, certainly has the space. Endless fields, winding paths, and peaceful woods make it the perfect canine paradise. On paper, it's a dream come true for any dog lover. But this isn't an ordinary home, and these aren't ordinary pets. Every decision the royal family makes, no matter how personal, carries weight. And the idea of the future king and queen raising 4 rambunctious pups under the same roof as their 3 children feels both charming and, to some, impractical. Even delightful chaos has limits in royal life. There's also the matter of image. For a family constantly balancing public affection with royal protocol, even something as innocent as puppies becomes a calculated choice. How do you maintain the dignity of the crown when your morning routine includes stepping in chewed-up slippers and managing midnight barking? Critics whisper that 4 pups are too many, that it would disrupt the polished, composed facade the monarchy is expected to uphold. Supporters argue it humanizes them, makes them more real, more relatable. The palace, as always, stays silent, letting the speculation grow. James Middleton, ever the provocateur in his own quiet way, didn't help matters. His Instagram post celebrating the litter with warmth and pride was meant to be simple, perhaps even private, but it stirred the pot. He mentioned homes. He hinted at futures, yet undecided. And suddenly, the world was guessing. Were these pups a permanent addition to royal life, or just a fleeting chapter? What adds to the mystery is the complete lack of official confirmation. No press release, no photographs, just anonymous sources claiming the family is in love and decisions are still being made. And so the world watches, waiting for any sign, any small clue about the fate of these royal pups. Because behind the cute headlines and playful images lies a deeper truth. In a family constantly redefining itself under public scrutiny, even the fate of puppies becomes a symbol of who they are and who they want to be. As the world speculates about the pups, attention turns to the man who started it all. James Middleton. Long before puppies pranced across the floors of Adelaide Cottage, before the joyful yelps and tiny paw prints stirred the royal silence, there was a deeper connection quietly unfolding in the background. It wasn't plastered across headlines, nor captured in royal portraits. But it was powerful. It was personal. It was the bond between a sister destined for a throne and a brother fighting to survive the weight of his own mind. James Middleton, the youngest of the Middleton children, has never worn a crown, but his journey shaped one of the strongest pillars in Catherine's life, and perhaps the very heart of her grace. For years, James struggled in the shadows. Anxiety, depression, crippling darkness that refused to let go. Despite the glamorous front the world projected onto the Middleton family, James's reality was very different. He spoke candidly of days when he couldn't communicate with his loved ones, when even composing an email felt impossible, when he would vanish into the woods to escape the noise in his head. He wasn't seeking attention, he was fighting to stay afloat. And in that storm, he found something unexpected. Dogs. To James, dogs weren't pets, they were lifelines. Silent companions who asked for nothing, judged nothing, and gave everything. Their presence grounded him, their eyes offered trust when he couldn't trust himself. Over time, his pack of therapy dogs became his world. He built a life around them, a business, a purpose. But more than anything, they gave him peace. And standing with him through it all, never seeking the spotlight, was Catherine. Not as the Duchess, not as the future queen, but as his big sister. When James finally broke his silence in a gut-wrenching interview, he didn't speak about fame or scandal, he spoke about healing. About how, even as Catherine shouldered the weight of a kingdom, she never let go of him. "She's still my big sister before a queen," he said. And those words struck a chord deeper than any royal address ever could. Because in a world where titles often overshadow humanity, here was a reminder that love still came first. That loyalty ran deeper than duty. Their connection wasn't built in palaces, it was forged through pain. Through long walks with dogs that didn't care about crowns. Through moments where Catherine would quietly show up, not to fix, but to listen. And in those moments, the foundation of their bond was set. Dogs became their shared language, a symbol of healing, of resilience, of everything that remains unspoken between siblings who've walked through fire together. It's no wonder, then, that Orla came from James, that the gift of a puppy became an extension of their story, a continuation of the therapy that saved. Him now passed forward to a family navigating pressures of their own. And this shared love would soon lead to unexpected public moments celebrated by millions. From the moment she appeared beside Princess Charlotte in a blooming meadow for her 7th birthday portraits, Orla was no longer just the family dog, she became a royal fixture, calm, composed, and effortlessly photogenic. She stood not as an accessory, but as a beloved presence. The image went viral instantly. But behind the sweet scene was something far deeper. A glimpse into the quiet, emotional world of the Wales family. And the world couldn't get enough. When Prince William took part in the Royal Charity Polo Cup, Orla was there too. Trotting confidently beside Catherine, she moved like she belonged not just in the royal field, but in the public narrative that surrounded it. And people noticed. Tabloids ran stories not just on William's game, but on Orla's steady demeanor and royal poise. She had become a symbol not of wealth or power, but of connection. A reminder that even the most powerful families lean on unconditional love in its purest form. Then came National Pet Day. No one expected it. The royal Instagram account posted a previously unseen photo of Orla, standing tall in a sunlit field. There was no crown in sight, no palace behind her. Just Orla, graceful, alert, and undeniably part of the family. The post exploded. Thousands of comments poured in from across the globe. The public didn't just admire her, they felt attached to her. Because in a family so often distant and restrained, Orla was a touchpoint of warmth, a soft presence in a world of rules. And this wasn't accidental. The royal institution has long understood the power of public perception. From Queen Elizabeth's corgis to William and Kate's transparency in raising their children, pets have played a subtle but powerful role in humanizing the monarchy. With Orla, the strategy continued, but with a sincerity that couldn't be faked. This wasn't staged affection, it was real. Orla didn't sit through royal events like a prop. She lived through them. Her interactions with the children, her appearances beside Catherine, even her unfiltered moments captured by James Middleton, each instance told a story of life beyond titles and ceremony. The media was quick to follow. Headlines like, "Meet the royal pup capturing hearts worldwide," flooded news outlets. Articles dissected her breed, her name's meaning, even her impact on Catherine's public image. But through it all, Orla remained untouched by the madness. She didn't need to pose or speak. Her presence alone was enough to shift the tone of any photograph or event, and that's what made her so powerful. In a monarchy often criticized for being distant, cold, or outdated, Orla became the quiet bridge between institution and intimacy. She reminded the public that love, loyalty, and joy still lived within palace walls and weren't just reserved for those with crowns. But beneath these public moments lies something far more lasting, the emotional shift these pups brought into the royal household. Sometimes, healing doesn't come in grand gestures. It comes in the form of 4 tiny paws, padding softly across the floor. In a family that has shouldered the unimaginable weight of legacy, loss, and relentless expectation, the arrival of puppies offered something no royal title ever could relieve. Not from duty or tradition, but from the emotional scars left behind by heartbreak. For the Wales family, the past few years have been anything but gentle. The quiet grief of losing Lupo, the heavy silence after Queen Elizabeth's passing, and most recently, the farewell to Beth, one of King Charles and Camilla's beloved terriers. Each loss echoed through the royal corridors in a way no formal announcement could ever capture. But the puppies, innocent, unpredictable, joyously unaware of their royal surroundings, brought with them a different kind of presence, one that didn't need to speak to be understood. Their energy was chaotic but comforting, wild yet healing. And in their company, the family began to breathe a little deeper, laugh a little louder. The children, in particular, blossomed. George grew more protective, Charlotte more nurturing, and Louis, still young enough to see the world in wonder, found in them a sense of companionship that words couldn't provide. Through morning routines, evening walks, and the gentle rhythm of responsibility, the children are learning what no textbook or etiquette lesson could ever teach: compassion, patience, and the kind of love that asks for nothing in return. Catherine and William, too, leaned into the simplicity. They've long made it clear that they want their children to grow up with something rare for royals' normalcy. And the puppies, with their messes and mischief, are part of that mission. They've turned polished routines into moments of real connection. Feeding time becomes a lesson in care. Accidents on the carpet become opportunities for forgiveness. And in these seemingly mundane moments, the future king and queen are raising not just heirs, but emotionally grounded human beings. And then there's the unspoken healing, the kind that creeps in when no one's looking, when the house is quiet, and Orla lays curled up beside the youngest child. When Catherine, after a long day of public duty, sits alone with one of the puppies nuzzled against her leg. When William hears laughter echoing from a room that once held only silence. These are the moments that mend what grief has fractured, not by erasing the past, but by giving it space to soften. In the grand narrative of monarchy, these puppies won't have official titles or historical footnotes. But in the hearts of a family rebuilding itself, they've already changed everything. They've reminded the world and the royals themselves that strength isn't always found in power. Sometimes it's found in play, in vulnerability, in choosing love again and again, even after loss. As the puppies grow, so does the story of a family finding joy, one paw step at a time. Drop your thoughts in the comments section. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.